Hi, it's Heather from Strings and Threads. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I enjoy all of this yarny talk and all this yarny, things that we have in common with each other. I really enjoy that. If you're not subscribed, I would encourage you to subscribe and be part of all of our yarny fun. So one thing I like to do, just, to break the ice, I like to do a question of the day, and it's not mandatory that you answer. You don't have to answer. It's just for fun. And if you'd like to answer, I would be curious to hear your thoughts on it. Today, I came across a real interesting one that I have thought about before. So I'm going to read it because I did not make up the question, but it is something I've thought about before. The question is, if a perfect clone of you were created right down to the tiniest cellular detail, would it be you or would it somehow still be missing something? I don't know. I think that is a curious thing. And as maybe more and more cloning projects happen, maybe this could be something that we would learn. I don't know if you made another me or you made another you that was biologically exactly you, would it be you? Would it have the same personality? I mean, I think about identical twins, which are basically that, they're not clones, but I think they're pretty darn close. And I think they're different. They might have a lot that is the same, but they're not the same exact person. It is a curious thing to know, there's a lot that goes into that. So anyway, welcome to Wearable Wednesday. And how this started was that I have been intimidated and I've never really been successful in making wearables. And so I thought that I would make this day to kind of push myself to work on the skill of making wearables. And I was successful with the one hooded sweater. If you have been following along, I am going to work on a tutorial for that, and that will be part of Wearable Wednesday. I think that's going to be my next Wearable Wednesday project. But I have to work on getting yarn for that. So we'll see. But I worked on, probably about a month ago, I worked on a twisted shawl and I loved the pattern, but I made it and I hated it. I made it too big for myself, first of all. Because it was shown on a small person. So I was like, well, I'm not small. I'm going to need to add to that. And then I added too much. And then it was also the wrong type of yarn. So I wanted to make my first Wearable Wednesday project. I wanted to see if I could do that twisted shawl and see if I could do it correctly. I don't have it completed, but I did find in my stash, this was something I already had. I didn't have to go out and buy it. It was Karen Skinny Cakes. Karen. I've heard it said both ways, and I am not sure the correct way. The colorway is Citron Fizz. And I've used quite a bit of it, but this is how it looks. And I started it, and I will link the video tutorial that I'm following for it in my description, so you can find, I think she calls it a Mobius shawl. I don't remember exactly what she called it. I've just been calling it a twisted shawl. But if you look at the link for the pattern that I'm using is in my description if you would like to make one for yourself. But here's how it's turning out so far. I'm happy with it. I like this type of yarn with it. I like the thinner yarn. I used a really thick, chunky yarn last time, and I wasn't happy with how it turned out. This is not completed. I need to still add more rows. So I'm hoping by next week to have this completed, and then the following week, hopefully I can have my yarn situation figured out and start working on that hooded sweater for you guys. And I'll show you how I made it for myself. But again, this is the twisted shawl, what I have so far, and I think it's gonna fit me all right. It's still small to try on, but what she suggested in the video was that you chain and you measure around your shoulders with the chain to see for the size. So I did that, and it is definitely fitting tighter. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's not gonna be too tight, but I think it's gonna be okay for me. So that is today's Wearable Wednesday. If anybody wants to join in and send pictures of wearables that you're working on or that you've already made, it doesn't have to be the same pattern that I'm using. I would be happy to show them in my Wearable Wednesday videos. If you're a station and you feel like you'd like to join in, that's fine too. I think that would be awesome. We don't have to be working on the same pattern. It could just be working on a wearable. So if you're already working on a wearable, that would be pretty easy to join in. We could tag each other if you would like. Just a thought. I'm probably gonna do Wearable Wednesday for a while until I can start feeling comfortable with making wearables. And so I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow for Things We're Making Thursday. Bye.